43 millones en sus bolsillos, mientras Zena la perrita moría en ese calabozo.
We're back in the office with a special guest we have here.
Aria,
and we have Nicolette. We've been following each other for a while now because I see that you're very passionate about humane society. Like I was telling you before, I went to a protest and only like 10 people, less than 10 people went. And then I went inside, and since I went inside, I was like, no, I can't. I can't, because it smelled really bad. There was dogs that were neutered and they were thirsty. I was asking, oh, are you going to give him water? He's like, yeah, I'm going to give him water. I was there like for 20 minutes, still waiting for him to give him water. Yeah. And then you guys been posting. It's you and Miami.
Adoptable pets. Adoptable dogs. Yeah.
There's like a couple people now doing speaking more about it.
Yeah.
So the protest was back in, I think in November. And I've noticed from November today, it's gotten like really, really, really bad.
Tense.
Yeah. And then I was in shock that you guys posted about an animal that was left in the van for 4 days.
Yes, that actually happened in 2024, last year, like in March. It was actually the Miami-Dade Animal Shelter, because the Humane Society is actually ran by like I think that's a Broward one. Pero bueno, they are more or less from the same fiddle. That basically they went to an event. They were supposed to take 8 dogs, and they took the 8 dogs, but when they came back to unload the dogs into the shelter, they left one behind.
Oh my God.
And this was on Friday.
So they were Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Monday morning,
or Monday afternoon, whenever somebody was going to use the van again for another event.
43 million in love.
According to actual documentation, it was bright and alert, the dog. I mean, we live in Miami, so I don't believe that.
Right, because it gets super hot.
Yeah, and that doesn't take a scientist to realize that it's not like an appropriate, like, to be honest with you, I don't even really know what happened to the dog. But that was the report, and that there's been several incidences of just, in my opinion, negligence, like gross negligence. One of the ones that really like affected me was Bruce. Is like a little mix pit bull looking dog that has been excuse me, at the shelter for quite a while, and had a long history of knowing, everyone knew that he couldn't eat and couldn't have any toys or blankets or anything in his kennel because he would eat them and then become sick and vomiting, diarrhea, whatever, and that's where we get stuck. So a few days ago, somebody put toys in his kennel, a lot of bedding. I actually posted a video of it on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And the sign literally says no toys or bedding. And this dog got very sick. They didn't really, they said that they blasted him. When they say blasted, it just means that they just reach out to like the fosters and whoever else can help like promote him to get him adopted, because he needed more medical treatment. And according to what they say is that he had that on x-ray that he ingested a toy and that he needed surgery that they were unable to provide. But keep in mind that they do and it's a little contradicting, because in terms of like some messages I've seen where the director will specifically state that they are only run as an urgent care and that they're only there to like basically stabilize and then transport the dog out, rescue or whatever. But then they're also more than equipped to do amputations and eye surgeries. And so it's just a matter of understanding. Like, I would love everyone to really, really understand that this is not just like a one problem.
Yeah, it's happening every day.
It's every day in my opinion, it is in every facet that's happening there. And You know, that dog, I mean, point of the story is that he ended up being euthanized because nobody came to get him. Frankly, I don't really think a lot of people knew him. And there was no, I mean, they just...
Yeah, if it wasn't for the volunteers, we don't know what's going on inside there.
Yeah, like, they just euthanized. And the thing that really upsets me is, like everybody taking care of this animal knows.
Right.
Do not give him toys. Do not give him blankets. It's almost as if, like, it's rationalized. Like, oh, it's just, that's how it is. And, like, we couldn't save him. And it's like, I almost feel like they intentionally find excuses not to save the dogs.
The older dogs. Have you noticed that with older dogs, or is it with any kind of dog? In general?
In general, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I've taken out so many dogs already that on their history, it'll say that the dog is quote unquote aggressive or kennel reactive, which is typical of a dog in that high stress environment. I mean, you are literally in a jail cell all day. Imagine having your TV on blast, like, a todo lo que da, like, basically all day, and then people coming in and out where the kennels are, and there's no, from what I understand, there's no cameras or there's no security there, so you don't know what the people, even from the public, is, you don't know how the dogs are going to react. I mean,
right.
There's been a couple of weeks ago, somebody stuck their hand in the kennel and one of the dogs bit the finger off. But that it was a phenomenal dog, right? Like, that's just such an unfair perception of these animals because, like I said, I've seen it, and if you just really put into perspective the amount of time that they're in their kennels, which is literally, they're only out 10 minutes a day, if that. There are days that it's probably less to none, like the days that they close when they really shouldn't be closing, like last Friday when they close for law enforcement appreciation.
That has nothing to do with the dogs, and
yeah.
But that director is always in every event. She's always in the board meetings. She's always in those events. She's in every single event because I've seen her. I've made eye contact with her, and I've seen her in events that doesn't go with her or with her where she works.
Nothing to do with the animals.
Exactly. Though I've seen her, like, in the board meetings. I've seen her in events that sitting there. The only event that I did see her that she was walking around with a dog was in Tropical Park, like, a couple months ago. But after that, I've never seen her doing anything. Like, I always see her by herself. How long have you been doing this?
The paw venture. So, just to give you a little bit, I've been doing it like about a month and a half now. But to give you like a little background to it, it's basically a program that they have. It's called the Paw Venture, and it's where anyone from the general public, you don't have to sign up as a volunteer officially or anything like that. You just show up with your license. You can pick a dog from the kennels, or they also have like a book with certain dogs in there that are already like they're okay to take out, like they're not aggressive, and it has like little notes on them. And then the dog out for the day, right? So I try to take out 2 when, I try to do like a morning.
Like cuddles, huh?
Yeah. I do like a morning one, and then I try to do like an afternoon one so that 2 dogs get exposed. And actually, since I've been doing this in just a short amount of time, I've already gotten 5 dogs adopted from there. Long-termers, like her. Like, this dog has been there for, it's going to be 2 years now in September.
Oh.
That's like...
Hi. Okay, so you've been doing this for a month, but have you noticed, like, every time you go in, the place is worse and worse, or you see a little bit of improvement?
So I would say that when I started, I was like mortified. Like, I don't consider myself a dramatic person. I work with the general public. I work, like I said, at the hospital, so it's not like I'm a realist too. Like, I do realize that there are certain situations where dogs need to be euthanized if their condition is progressing very rapidly and they are visibly suffering and there's no other option. I understand that those things, dogs get hit by a car, they're just bleeding, whatever.
Right.
However, I did notice a lot of things that I did notice were, in particular, just the things, number one, not adding up. I did a lot of research in terms of like budget, like their spreadsheets. I have a lot of
Don't do that. I'm gonna fall in love with you.
I did a lot of
records farm soon.
I know, right? I did a lot of records requests. I've gotten a lot of input from a lot of people and factual information, and I physically have been going to see exactly the situation. However, so going back to what you asked me, it's when I went, it's still bad. It is still terrible. The animals are legitimately sitting in their piss and shit like for hours at a time, and the like I said, the negligence and the treatment of the animals, I would say that there is a handful of staff that generally care. But that the issue there is it's just coming from the top. I mean, it's nothing new to the
She also was a director for Miami Aquarium.
That's another girl.
Oh, that's another girl.
So Heather Keenan is actually the one that was the director for Seaquarium. I actually never met her in person. But yeah, she used to work for Seaquarium. And actually Annette Jose, the director, worked prior to this for DCF at some point. And I know there was a lot of issues there. There was several incidences where apparently under her care or she was involved somehow, that there was lawsuits filed for children becoming injured and stuff and under their direction. So she went from there to taking care of the animals. So it also had a chance.
Right.
Let's be real. And I personally have dealt with her several times through email, and the last encounter I had with her was very unprofessional on her part. I went to pick up a dog, and she and the doctor, Dr. Duran, approached me in the waiting area and basically threatened me. I mean, they threatened me that they basically she could have me taken out of there, and I will not be allowed back to do the paw ventures or to get the animals out. And I told her, she's not law enforcement,
right?
Publicly funded building, which she stated it is not, and
but it is,
of course. But I'm like, and that basically that she could have me removed or whatever. That I should not be saying what I'm saying about their shelter. Essentially,
have you reached up to the mayor and the commissioners, and have you talked to them? Not Levine Cava, because that's in the route. It's not Levine Cava's the one who's in charge there.
Yeah, it is. It's Levine. It should be.
It should be. It's Miami-Dade. Yeah, but that's in the route.
Yeah, but
it should be Christy Frau.
But Christy Frau is not over her and Annette and all that. It's actually Cava.
Oh, yeah. Great. Because I was saying, how come Christy Frau doesn't get involved?
No, it's very it's very political, and despite the fact that it's in Doral, like for instance, even if you wanted to write a police report you have to be inside Miami-Dade, and you have to be Miami-Dade cop coming. If now you have to step outside the building, then it would be Doral. It's very, but in terms of who's in charge of who, it actually is Cava.
Have you spoken to her?
No, because the first email that I wrote to her was basically questioning the fact that the paw venture was so unsuccessful until I pretty much started blasting it, because they had it listed under spay and neuter services. Who's gonna go there and know that that's the paw venture? To make an appointment, that's another thing, you needed an appointment at the beginning. Nobody's gonna know to go there. So that was my thing. I'm like, you guys need to have a bridge basically between the dogs that are, there and then the dogs and the people coming in through the door. Because unfortunately, not every dog is one size fits all. Some dogs don't like little kids. I mean, it's just a fact.
Right. Yeah.
And then you set them up for failure if you don't really get to know the dog.
Right.
So
I have one of them, my kids.
There you go. So
and I love her to death.
Exactly.
That's her personality.
So it's kind of but the problem is that with the amount of dogs that they have, and then
they're overpopulated.
Well, that's another rabbit hole. That's another thing that they state, that they're very overpopulated. And she actually goes on Channel 10, I believe it is, and she states that she's like, oh yeah, we have 32,000 intakes a year. What people don't realize is that it's the 32,000 intakes that she's saying she intakes is it's not how you're thinking. Wow, there's 32,000 dogs and cats that are getting into the doors, and they're staying there, and they're getting adopted out. No, from those 32,000, you have 6,700 dogs that are being intaken to the system. In other words, 6,700, that's it. Then you have quote unquote, and I say quote unquote because this is a large number, 19,000 cats that are TNRs. TNRs is trap and release. Basically, you trap them, you neuter them, and you release them. Those do not count as intake because they are not taking up space in the shelter. It's literally an in and out thing. It's the public brings them in or whoever. They spay neuter them. They ship them out. But in terms of money and budget, in reality, it's just the staff doing the procedures, which are already budgeted into the $43 million budget that they have.
So they're supposedly ran out too.
Yeah, they ran out, but they are dispersing money to the cat network, to several other outside rescues, and it doesn't make any sense. But
I just don't understand why there's no one talking about this. You're the only one in your organization, and Otaola has talked about it in the show. We were a volunteer of Otaola. So when he started talking about it, we started reposting it, and we had a lot of people, oh, that's not true. That's not true. I'm gonna go see it yourself. I saw it. I went in November, and I left there crying. A lady left her dog in the door. It was horrible.
It is not for the faint of heart. This has not been easy. In the month that I've been doing this, I had somebody come to my house and take pictures and videos and try to like scare me or whatever, which I get the vibe that it's somebody from the county. Actually, I was able to get the tag and stuff and trace it. It doesn't scare me. I could care less. Like,
no, you're not doing that.
I'm not gonna sit here and let you bully me into thinking that I'm gonna stay quiet. The problem is that a lot of people get discouraged because one, it's an emotional thing, and if you don't present the information right, people drown it out. Like, oh no, this is a crazy rescue group. Forget about it. They're like super irrational. They don't, and that's why I tell everybody, I'm like, I'm not completely opposed to euthanasia when it fits. Or, and I know that they're going to have some time where they have to stay in a kennel. I mean, even the normal person has kennels in their house, but it's the extreme stuff that's going on there, the extreme cases of like hours and hours where there's no water, there's no, like you said, there's no staff, there's no and
you had an infection and no one.
It's still going on.
Oh, it's still going on.
And they're dropping like flies.
And there was no medicine. There's no medication. There's no money for medication.
So that's another thing that so there's a audit that was done. It is called the Best Friends. Those are the papers that.
Oh.
The Best Friends audit was basically done like about a year and a half ago. It's basically like a third party, and it comes in and audits them, and there's several categories on there. I think like 10 or 15 categories, up from leadership to the vet clinic to anything that you can think of is in there. Data reporting. They failed at every single thing.
Wow.
The only thing that they kind of sort of were okay in was actually the fostering department. And I will say again, because I've been there, I have to say that out of all the management individuals, the one that I've dealt with the most has been the girl from fostering, Kennedy, and she's been amazing. But it's only one of her, which also makes me wonder, it's like they're supposed to have 3 people in that department and they only have 1. So what happens? Oh, there's 1 left and the other one got promoted. And then there's a freeze? Who issues these freezes? And what is that? What does a freeze even mean? Because you're budgeted for that. That doesn't work like that. Like, you have a freeze because you overspent or there's money missing. And nobody's sitting here and calling these people out, because if you go into the door, number one, you don't want to deal with these dogs because it's very disheartening, and the cats. And number two, if you have these people literally threatening you when you come in the door, it's not everybody's gonna have that like drive to like call them out. But the amount of negligence and fraud, it's disturbing. It's so many layers.
No, and it's in the face of one. Okay, we try not to like no, there can't be fraud. This is not impossible, but it's actually happening. Like right now, the budget that they collected for 2025, it's already gone. It's already gone.
And
what? And you ask them. Then we go to a board meetings and we ask, where did the money go to? Oh, we built new parks. I'm like, where? I've never seen them. Oh, we're doing a new soccer park. I'm like, you're doing 3. You're doing 3. There's 3 soccer parks coming to South Florida. Why do we have to give our money to those parks when there's stuff that needs the money first? The potholes are keep on growing. Homeless, increasing of homeless. People are losing their houses. So there's people that are moving to other houses and they can't bring their pets. And they're dropping them off in Doral. In Sweetwater, a van came and helped pick up 46 cats, 10 iguanas, and 6 ducks because everybody had to leave. They got evicted in the trailers in Sweetwater, and some of them had to leave their animals. And nobody from the county went to see. No one from the county went to visit. I know majority of the clients I have here rescue animals. And it's a lot of money that it comes out of your pocket. A lot of money.
Yeah.
That people don't understand that. You're doing this half kind of free.
No, yeah. I mean, even just like, and I get, look, I have 5 dogs, so it's very difficult. And, I started this because my rescue, I've always rescued dogs and my family too and whatever. And when I lost my dog last year, it was kind of like the push that I needed to like, I didn't know how I was going to get involved, but everything's kind of like led me to this point. And the only reason I don't have more dogs is because honestly, like,
I already have 4.
I just can't, I can't.
I have a cat that I rescued in Pet Supermarket that they told me that she was gonna die. She was 25. I got her for $25. She was like this. She had a small body and a big head. And I rescue her thinking, for her to live her best life. She's been with me for 8 years and she's perfectly fine. And I have 3 dogs too. One of them, I picked him up in a house in Hialeah that had like 500 dogs in there. It's Stitch. That's my ride and die. And then I have Bella, that I rescued her. And then Stitch, I thought he was king. And he got Bella pregnant, and then it's a weird mix there. And then I kept the daughter. Wow. And then Stitch got neutered.
Oh my god!
Because I never see him active or anything, and so I was like, oh no, I don't have to neuter him because I think he's confused.
Yeah.
No, I thought when I'm here working, he was having a great time. And then my dad just rescued a horse too.
Oh my god! Well, my grandparents own a farm on 5 acres, so that's why I have so many dogs. And but the problem is, I figured if I almost wanted to foster more dogs, but the problem is that then I won't be able to have the time to do this because I have to be there. So in the meantime, honestly, I really, really want to stress that, people need to understand that this is when you go to the Miami-Dade Animal Shelter, it literally says on the sign, pet protection services. We're not protecting these animals. We're not. It's not because we can't. It's because of the administration. I mean, that's just a fact, and I am really tired of just kind of everything being in the background and they don't have a voice. Nobody speaks up for them. People are like, oh, you don't have time to do anything. I'm like, I don't have time to do anything, but I have to do this. There's no other way for me. There's no other option, and I've already...
Can anybody open a rescue? Can anybody? I just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna open a rescue. Can I do that?
There is. I think there's certainly I'm sure there's certain standards that you need in terms of kennels and stuff like that. As far as fostering, if you have a certain amount of acreage per amount of dogs, then it doesn't apply. You can have under foster care. But I guess let's say if you have 3 or 4 dogs already, but you only live on 1 acre and you can't technically have any more dogs. So then you would have to then apply for a kennel license and stuff like that. So it's but it's like anything. And then you would open up the actual the 501c, 503, it's one of those to then be officially a rescue or whatever. So technically you could. It's just the paperwork and stuff. But
so what message do you want to give the community?
The biggest message that I want to give the community is, everything that you'll see, whether it's on this podcast or in my Instagram, is public knowledge. You can choose to turn a blind eye to it, or you can choose to do something about it. And there's, you realize that we're paying for these animals to suffer because we're allowing this to happen. That should piss you off.
Right.
If you don't care about dogs or cats, or you just don't like them, you're not an animal person, that's fine. But this is still coming from your pocket, a lot of money. So on top of that, it's it's disgusting. It's disgusting to see that these are the situations that these dogs are living in. And if I have to leave you with one message is do your own research. See it for yourself. Show up to the shelter. Go there. Like, talk to people. I mean, it's not going to take you long to look around and realize that what I've been saying is in fact true. And if you can do anything, if you can't have a dog, like, go do the paw venture, foster. You didn't even do a weekend foster, and you bring the dog back. It gets the dog a reset, kind of like how we need vacations.
Right.
Get
right.
them out.
It gets stressful in there. Sometimes in those kennels there are like 3 dogs in there.
It's just
in the side, in the right side. I've seen like 3 or 4. There, even the ones in the corners are a little bit bigger. They sometimes have 5 dogs in there.
I tell people, I'm like, go inside your bathroom, all right, and tell me when you sit there for an hour, just a la fuerza. Sit there for an hour. You can't do it. It's very difficult. Imagine doing that for 20 something hours. And then the only interaction you get is with a different person every day. Dogs barking. You're expected to be on like your A game, because God forbid you growl when you come out of your kennel, or you just got spayed or neutered and you growl, which, that was another huge case, which was on my, Instagram as well. And then it's like literally like you're leaving it to the discretion of the administration, the medical team. Like, how are you? I mean, there's a gentleman that adopted a dog last year, and that I don't know how that didn't get out. Like, that he adopted this dog, fell in love with this dog. They said that he had to get the dog spayed and neutered there, which also is in fact not true. You can sign an agreement that you'll do it with your personal vet. That's your right. You don't have to do it there. I don't recommend you do it there, because there's dogs leaving with tetanus from there. But he basically went to adopt her the next day, and they yanked her out of her kennel in front of him. She growled. Of course, she's in pain. She has a cone on her head. And they labeled her as reactive, and they stopped her in the kennel and basically told her that he cannot take her unless he is with a rescue. Short story long, like I like to say, and my friend likes to say, they euthanized her. And that was, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, wow. I can't imagine like falling in love with a dog and then in your face, like, this is not a communist country, bro. Like, you guys just, it's not like, you can't just do things like this. Like, ¿qué está pasando? Like, I don't get it. Like, put some and then I'm like, where are the cameras? Like, where, I'm gonna see, like, where are the cameras, and are they recording? Like, there should be cameras everywhere there. Like, people really, really need to open their eyes, and this is just on a small level, but this is happening in a lot of shelters, and I'm hoping that long term, this would be like the staple of like, this needs to stop in the whole country, in the world. Like, people need to open their eyes and just do a little research, commit yourself for a little time, right? And push. Stop being scared of these people. Like, we talk about that all the time. This is ridiculous. Exactly. Like, like I have, I'm not saying I don't understand it. I know that people back down because, it's like, oh, you have a job, like, you have your life, you have kids and whatever, and you don't, but like, at what point are you going to allow this to keep happening? Because if this is with this, that's why I always say we need to get together, do something. I don't know if it's a protest and right there in the front, and you call us whenever you're doing that. We need to get together and we need to stop this, because it's getting worse if we don't make a change about it or do something about it. It's gonna get worse, and it's getting worse because you guys post it all the time. The waters are yellow. Dogs are eating their own poop. Dogs are starving. Dogs are fighting with each other because they're stressful in there. You're posting this all the time, and the cats too. The cats are getting they're getting sick with the I don't know, it's like a pink eye. Yeah. And conjunctivitis and stuff. Right. And then they're all had infections, and supposedly there's no money. Where's the money going to then? That's the question we all ask. And then they're like, oh, we fixed the streets. Their taxes went down. And we did this. No, we don't. No, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I mean, literally, you can just Google like 2024, 2025 budget for Miami-Dade Animal Services, and you will see the budgeted positions, where and what everybody's supposed to be doing. There is 3 positions in the director's office, and everybody, the 2 of them are making over 150, and she's making over 250. And listen, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's probably warranted because it's a lot of work. But you can't, I mean, you just can't keep turning a blind eye to the amount of lying and just covering things up and just chalking it up to like, oh yeah, the animals cost that much money. I know rescues that take in 1,000 dogs a year and operate on a $200,000 budget. And you're taking in 600-700 dogs, and the cats are. If there's 20,000 cats that you're saying are trap and release, then what's left of that? Like, how many cats are you really intaking? 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 the most? That's still 12,000 animals. With $43 million, that's way more. Like, those animals should be in pristine shape, health. The medication should be given up time, right? It should be given. In that audit, you can look it up as well. The Best Friends audit. Well, I'm not sure if the full audit is public because, you know, again, it was never. They gave a bunch of recommendations, but nothing was ever implemented. But in one of the categories, it states that they are in their vet department. They're not effectively treating the upper respiratory infection, and that they're creating a superbug because they're giving doxycycline and a couple of other medications, and at the bare minimum, or not giving it significantly enough to kill off that bacteria and the virus, and it's not working. So then that dog stays longer and they end up dying. Like they are literally dying. I just posted one, and then I come to find out yesterday that dog woke up dead in his kennel. Like, I just posted him. They just listed one on their website that was Dog of the Week. I can't remember his name. If you scroll back, it was like last week or whatever. In April, they posted him, and they euthanized him a couple days ago. Why? Because he was suffering from upper respiratory or whatever.
Awesome.
And that's one shelter. They have a shelter in Medley that nobody talks about either. Yeah. Which I know only in Dade blasted them. Yeah. And that's another huge problem. That shelter is not even supposed to be for animals. It's supposed to be a food distribution center. And there's no AC. Right. There's
we post about it too.
That's just like...
Because it was a volunteer that she filmed it, and there was a flood. Yeah. And all the kennels were out, and we posted, and Otaola posted too.
And the amount of dogs dropping dead because of the heat at the end of the summer. And now what? Now these dogs are like, they're literally dropping dead in there. And then nobody knows that they can even go there to adopt a dog. I try to do even the pop benches from there, and it's a nightmare to get the dog from over there because they're not at the same facility. It's like, there's no accountability there. Like, no, hold these people accountable. Like, stop being scared. Write your emails. Call whoever you have to call. Go to the shelter, pull the dog.
I think it's time for us to do a big protest. We need to arrange one.
There is one coming on the 30th.
Awesome. You have information?
It's at the mayor's office.
Oh, we'll go there.
At the mayor's office.
Send me the information for we can start posting it. I'm going to also be linking her Instagram, posting her Instagram. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We appreciate you, and we are here to support you.
Thank you. I
let us know. I have a lot of people that were asking me too about the if we were doing a protest.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a group too. The ones the 10 that went to the protest in November.
Okay.
So they'll go for sure. And thank you so much. And let's do this. Let's get together and do this. Because hasta cuando?
No. Yeah, that's it. Enough is enough. If you're gonna bark, you better know how to bite. That's what I always say.
Join the movement. Enough is enough. That's what I would keep on posting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You ready, mommy?
People that were asking me too about the if we were doing a protest.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a group too. The ones the 10 that went to the protest in November.
Okay.
So they'll go for sure. And thank you so much. And let's do this. Let's get together and do this. Because hasta cuando?
No. Yeah, that's it. Enough is enough. If you're gonna bark, you better know how to bite. That's what I always say.
Join the movement. Enough is enough. That's what I would keep on posting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
43 million in the pockets, while Zena the dog was dying in that cell. Mycoplasma, sepsis, neglect. Where's the money for conscience? Daniella Levine digs you sign checks with red ink from pet blood. How do they sleep with so much harassment? Tiga strolled, she was pure energy.